What's up, y'all? This is Kiwan. I am back with Family Business New Orleans, Season 1, Episode 2, Rest No Peace. I'm sorry. Can I get y'all to do me a favor? Can you please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel? Click the notification bell button so you can be notified on all of my videos that I upload. So, can we just start by saying how they have completely bounced the intro song and even the original Family Business song? That there is a bounce version to that on here. I've heard it in episode 1, and I think they play it a little bit in episode 2, and I was like, bam, bam, all right. You know, shout out. I'm sorry, I just had to say that. So the episode starts with the LeBlanc goons. They're throwing Red's body and the other guy's body in the swamp. They look over to see a vehicle, and they notices that it is Pierre's vehicle, and they see someone literally sitting in there smoking a cigarette. So they go over with guns, pull a gun out on the dude, and the person was like, "You don't know who I am," and it was like, "We don't give a who you are, get out the car." But we don't see his face. We see the back of his neck, we see the back of his head, but we don't get to see his face. So I was like, it gotta be somebody from the other one. So we'll see how all of that ties in. So we get over to Ernestine. Y'all, when I tell y'all Ernestine is the voodoo priestess that been putting the roots on Uncle Floyd. Baby, she was drinking that blood. What I think was blood or red wine. She was telling him that, he needed to protect his family. And so she drank it a little bit and I don't think she swallowed it, but she was kissing him, and he looked like he was just stiff. Like the way he was laying there, I was like, girl, okay. So in the next scene, we see Marquise, Nevada, Curtis, Lauren, and they are boarding the plane. So there's a car that pulls up at the airport. It's one of LC's cars, but Marcus isn't paying attention. He just pulled out his gun, and Nevada was like, "Look at the car, look at the plate," and we see it was one of LC's. So it's Nene. She gets out the car and she was like, "Hey, I'm coming to NOLA too." And so Lauren was like, "Listen, and ain't no need to change her mind. Just come on and get in the car." And so she gets on the plane. Ain't no changing her mind, so we just gonna let her come with us. So the driver, one of the drivers was like, Vegas felt like you needed a little more. Tell Curtis you needed a little more, so I'm gonna come with. So, now they get more backup just in case. And so, in the next scene is the second line processional, and I want to assume that was for Pierre. The LeBlanc family had the second line processional, and I thought it was so like. You miss those things that you don't get to see all the time anymore. My family has never done anything like that. The closest we've done was at the repast, had a second line band came in for birthday party, funerals, so we've had birthday parties. We hire second line bands, and we also had the bands to come play at our family's repast, And so in the next scene, Floyd stops by Todd. Todd was the goofy one from episode 1, the heavyset dude, the one that said, we think somebody gonna go snitch. Meanwhile, we find out that he is the snitch. He tells Floyd tells him, "Hey, Shirley told me to come by and check on you to see if you all right." He was like, "Oh, yeah. I'm all right." He talking fast. He looked guilty AF. And so, he was like, "I was just gonna head over to the LeBlancs and help out with the funeral arrangements." And so Floyd was like, "So are you really? That's what you're really gonna do?" So Todd was like, I'm basically just gonna go tell him the truth. He said I can use that money. So Floyd was like, "Well, I give you $1,000. So he was like, $1,000? I could get 10,000 from John and split it quote unquote split it 3 ways, because they wasn't gonna split it. Him and that dude was going over there to tell and split that 100K 2 ways. So Floyd ends up unaliving him. Like, So, and he left. He unalived him and he left because they trying to keep it quiet, but y'all can't be trusted. So, in the next scene, we see Shirley, Monique, Marie, and John in the processional, in the funeral processional. And so she offers up her condolences and she's sincere about it. And so, they was like, thank you. And Monique was like, I mean, we need to go because this is a lot. I'm from Detroit. I don't do all of this walking. She was like, if you're going to be in NOLA, this is what you're going to have to get adjusted to. So, that was that. In the next scene, Floyd heads over to the other dude's house, the one that was with Todd. And he notices that it's Floyd at the door, and Floyd immediately unalives him, wipe off the door, the handles, and he leaves because he knew that he was going to go, him and Todd was going to go over to the LeBlanc's house and tell what was happening. So to further keep from, anyone telling, Shirley and Monique find Eric. Eric was the dude that won the money at the craps. Was it the crap? At the poker table. And so Shirley actually unalived him with a knife, and she was I was like, oh okay, all right, Shirley. So we found out the car by the swamp was actually Pierre's vehicle, and I guess whoever the mystery man was, he stole it. Or it could have been where Pierre lost that car to him and again, doing something crazy. And so I thought it was the dude. I'm still thinking it was the dude in the bushes, but we find out otherwise. So in the next scene, we have the mystery man at the trap house. He covered up with the black thing over his face. He's still talking a whole lot of smack. He's telling them, you don't know who I am. And so the dude, one of the goons, because there was a lot of them in that house, he had the brass knuckles on. And you gotta know he from New Orleans. He hit him. He was like, I'ma bat the piss out you. That's how I knew that was a local New Orleans actor. And shout out to him, because if we're gonna do this, we actually need people from New Orleans to actually do this. Even if it doesn't matter in what capacity they serve. I think they need to be in there because I think that they are needed just by the tone, the language, most of us know, most of the NOLA people have, so he punched him. And I just thought that was so funny because I never heard, and I could be wrong, but I never heard nobody outside of New Orleans say, I'ma bat the piss out you. And I'm pretty sure I have heard that. I said that in one of my reviews about somebody that probably worked on my nerves. All right. I just would like to point out how fine David Banner is. It's just okay. Focus, Erica, focus. So in the next scene, we see Larry and the three crazies, his son, because I think that son is just as touched too. They're getting ready to rob a drugstore, and I'm like, well, why are you robbing a drugstore? But I guess so. It in a car. He was like, we gonna go in, get what we need, and come out. So in the next scene, the LeBlancs make it home. The lady tells her assistant, to, don't let nobody come up, don't disturb him. We need this time. And so she was like, cool. So the lady fixed them some champagne. She brought the champagne upstairs, and she gives him a glass of champagne. And so she tries to be intimate with him, and he was like, nah, I gotta go. We need to do X, Y, and Z. We want to honor my brother. We know that such and such is his favorite drink. So me and Saint, and the guys, we want to go do that. And so She was like, you know, who you sleeping with? Automatically, you know, that I think sometimes that's something you're gonna think, especially if, you know, she says you've been rejecting me for months now, and he was like, no, I've just been busy and I'm working. And so I was like, listen, Marie, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just gonna say he been with me. All right, we've been canoodling and spending some time together, honey. So that's probably why you're getting less time at home. I am so ashamed. All right, I am so ashamed. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm about to stop apologizing for my jokes in these videos. Y'all, I'm just playing. Okay, y'all know it. Anyway, I guess my thing is, sir, if you know, even if you're not, you know, sleeping around with anybody, the truth of the matter is, if she stepped out with somebody, you will want to harm that person, probably as well as her, because you want her to give you this loyalty. But sometimes y'all don't think y'all loyalty is at the craziest cost, and you don't understand that lack of emotion, that lack of, you know, the serotonin and all of that, those things that she need. You know, we need that. And when you take that away, it's like, what the hell you want me to do? I'm human, and I have human needs. And so, as fine as you are, I will be wanting to climb up to you every day. So, I just be like, sometimes the way these ninjas be having people out here looking crazy is beyond me. So she was like, you're not going to get home at 3 o'clock in the morning. So she, you know, she went ahead. When he left, she pulled out her rose. And he told her, before she pulled out the rose, she tells him, you know, you're not going to be home till 3 in the morning. And he was like, wait for me. Baby, the way I would have been in that bed, feet propped up, like, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. I would have been like, oh, all right. You know, but I've been doing one of them and be like, whoo, just trying to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning. I got you, you know, legs up here. Ain't got nothing on. I'm just waiting. Just come on. All right. So she was like, forget all of that. So she pulled out her Rose 2000 and she, you know, she must have went to work. I'm sorry, y'all. So in the next scene, we get to the drugstore and we see Larry and his goons. They robbing a drugstore. So it didn't make sense as to why they robbed the drugstore or why they are back. But we find out a little later why, which ties into why the heck he robbed that drugstore. So anyway, we see John and Saint arrive at one of his trap houses. And we find out that the man under the cover up is Sebastian. And if you watch the original series, we know that Sebastian runs South Miami. Is it South Beach? He runs the South Beach territory. So we know that he works for LC, but LC has people placed in different territories. He's the one who works in the South Beach territory. He's the one with the 2 white girls. And so he actually, that is that's where what's his name, the son, the one with the colorful hair, I love him. I think he is so cute. He used to get his drugs from and used to be personally doing drugs. I think they still had him doing drugs in the last season, but that don't even matter. Anyway, he tells him, I want to speak to the person. I want to speak to Pierre. He's the man. And everybody looked at him and laughed like, sir, you tripping. He ain't nothing. He don't have no power or no deed, in my Medea voice. And so John was like, you know, how do you know him? And so he tells him, you know, I met him a couple years ago around Mardi Gras time. And, you know, he told me he was in charge of everything. And so they was meeting so he can be his connect and he can bring him that Coquiana. And so he said, I got 5 kilos or something. I don't know. I don't know the Coquiana mathematics. Okay, he had 5 packages, kilos, whatever, in that trunk with some Coquiana in it, and so that was his saving grace. And not only that was his saving grace, because we find that Sebastian has the best Coquiana. Okay, I don't know what Coquiana smell like. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know. But all we know is Sebastian has always had the best Coquiana. So they go to the he tells Saint, hey, go look for it. He was like, you better not be lying. And so no, he told him, he said, this could absolutely keep you alive. So Saint went out to go get the Coquiana, and hold on. So y'all, in the next scene, we go over to the casino, y'all, and that looked like I really like the older versions of the houses. I thought it was beautiful. I've never been inside any house that looked like that. I think when I go back home, I actually really want to explore the city in ways that I haven't. Honestly, y'all, I've been living out here for so long, and even since after Katrina, so whenever I do go home, I'm always local. Everything I eat, everything I do is at a local corner store. Never like really just exploring the city. Anyway, y'all ain't asked me that. So Shirley and Monique are outside. They see the car pull up, and they see that it's Nene, and we find out that Nene is Shirley's sister-in-law. And I was like, well, who is Shirley married to? Because Nene is married to Larry, and who else? Donna was married. She was messing with LC and had Junior for LC. And then she married the one who passed away some time ago. Y'all know Pinky. I forgot what his name was because he was in season 1, and I want to say he was unalived in season 2, and I didn't like it. I wish he would have stayed, but I liked him on there. Anyway, so they hug each other, and she was like, what are you doing here? And so Nene was like, well, I wanted to visit New Orleans. I came down here for a little while. And so, Shirley was like, come on to the buffet. We can eat, y'all can eat the food from the buffet. Nene was like, I don't eat no buffet food, ma'am, if you don't go in there. Curtis was like, you know what? Don't worry about it, auntie. Thank you. We gonna go. She greets both Lauren and Curtis. And so we just go from there, So Shirley tell Marquise, she was like, see me in my office right now. So we get to Maurice's office. Oh wait, no, before that, we see Nene go, and the kids go down to the buffet. I guess they getting ready to go down eat at the buffet. She gets a call from Larry. And so, no. Nene tells Shirley that Larry escaped from the institution and said that he didn't need to be there. And so he's somewhere in Wayfair. And that's why he robbed the drugstore, because he escaped. So when you escape, you don't have medicine. And so they may not have brought any medicine. And so, in the next scene, we see Larry. He's having an episode because he's throwing out the medicine. This ain't it. Because he's looking for a certain type of med. He actually finds them. And y'all, they was like, before he found them, everybody was like, what's going on? He was like, this ain't it. So he having an episode in the back of his car until he find the medicine. So he found the medicine. He was like, I found it. He stopped being so frantic. And y'all, he downed them pills like that was some red Flintstone vitamins. Okay? I was like, sir. And I don't know what it is. Them happy pills had him here to here. Okay? And so we get back to the trap house. and they find out. So at this point, Saint has tried the Coquiana to see if it was good or bad. And so Saint was like, woo, whoo, like, this some good stuff. Like, y'all, this some good top tier Coquiana. All right. And so he tells him this is when he tells John how he met Pierre. And so Pierre was like, this is your luck. John was like, this is your lucky day because you are going to survive because you are now my new associate. Because we know the LeBlanc family is mobsters. They take your business. They sell drugs, and all of that. So in the next scene, Shirley walks into her office. Marquise walked behind her. She smacked the dog piss out of Marquise. And she tells him, I told you not to go to LC because I am a business owner. They specialize in drugs, so I don't do business the way they do business. I try to stay away from that. But, I felt like she needed them. I felt like once the stuff hit the fan, you're going to need your family. And no matter how much you try to get away from it, they are your family. And what I will say is that's a family that stick. It doesn't matter where you at or where you from. They stick with one another. They stick by each other, So, she says, she didn't want to get the rest of the Duncans involved just because of the way they run their business. But Shirley did tell Marquise, I will adjust. So in the next scene, I don't know how I got my stuff mixed up. Larry then calls Nene, and sometimes I think Nene is just as nuts as Larry, but okay. So, those meds had him calm AF. So he tells, Nene, how much he misses her, and that she wants him to come. He wants to come see her, and so you can leave LC's house and move back, and we can be a family. And so he finds out. She was like, I'm not in New York anymore. I'm actually in New Orleans. And so he finds out that Nene is now in New Orleans. So then he tells the crew, he was like, listen, have anybody been to New Orleans? They was like, no, we wanted to go. So now they traveling to New Orleans. I'm like, this finna be a whole show. I don't know how this is going to work, but I need to know, who is Shirley married to? Like, I don't know who if that's Nene's sister-in-law. I'm thoroughly confused because I thought it was only 3 of them. Anyway, so in the next scene, we see somebody named Skunk. Skunk comes into the casino and asks Floyd for 50, talks to him like, I need to talk to you, Shirley. Shirley was like, I can't talk right now. Talk to Floyd. So he was like, 50,000. And he was very vague about the 50,000. And I'm just like, fool, if you don't tell him why you want 50, if you keep saying 50, why are you saying 50? And so Floyd was like, no, and walk off. Like, you expect me to tell you yes on something you're not even telling me about. But I think Floyd they were definitely off-putting with Skunk. And so Skunk was like, oh, well, I was just going to ask you for $50,000 so I could keep my mouth closed. But since John is offering $100K, I'm going to go ahead and go and get this $100K and be done with it. And this where the episode ends, and probably this where Skunk life is going to end once they find out how he went and told it. If he go and tell it, and he must go tell it on episode 3. This apparently is finna be a hotmess.com. The fact that we're going to have Larry and his crew, and at some point, I think this is going to be an all-out war. excuse me, we still need to figure out what's Quincy role. Quincy, I don't know, I forgot what his character name. I think it's Pierre. It's something that starts with a P. But we need to know what's Quincy's role in all of this. Because Quincy works for LeBlanc. And so, yeah. This finna be a hotmess.com. I am here for it. I am going to stick by it. Like I said, I'll let y'all know in a community wall what days I'm gonna put those episodes out in the other ones. Just let me figure it out, and I'll have the community wall up about it. I'll be coming up with the community wall stuff. So anyway, thank y'all for listening. Come back to the next one. Please like it, y'all. I just want to get all my likes up. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.